Rearm and Resupply, the second mission and the one that takes the longest to complete of the opening three. The first three missions are the hardest for a melee-focused army, which is heavily reliant on skill points on company captain difficulty. It doesn't help that you get significantly reduced skill and army points on this difficulty. Nevertheless, 560 point army cap should be enough. I used the requisition point to recruit another aggressor and as many assault marines as I could. I moved the second aggressors to the reserve, in case I lose the one I am currently deploying. Losses are inevitable here. Without the Sanguinary Guard, I could deploy 2 aggressors and 4 assault marines, but the damage output of the guard has proven to be very appealing. So I opt once again for a lighter but elite force. The biggest drawback of such a force is that if I lose even a single model of my elite units, it will significantly affect their damage output and survivability. The single skill point we got from the last mission goes into Righteous Exhortation. This will improve the Assault Marine's kill potential. With nagging doubts about the size of the army, I start the mission. The starting deployment is simple. Surround as many jump pack troops around a turret while still keeping in jump range of the enemy. I start the mission. I open with Righteous Exhortation, followed by a very aggressive surround and slaughter of the enemies.
Always ready, always vigilant. Thin their numbers, they will not overwhelm us. Assault Marines ready for Sanguinius. With certainty. To the sky, brothers! The swarm has no right to live!
I am the sword of Sanguinius.
The swarm has no right to live! By the blood!
4 Hormagaunts barely survive the butchering. One group even lands a hit on my marines. You can see how much less of a threat a crippled swarm unit is. The Tyrannid turn ends, and the land speeder reinforcement arrives. But first, I finish off the remaining swarm. The aggressors move first to check out the pings we got from the west. A not so insignificant force of Tyrannid awaits us in the fog of war. The aggressors combine their firepower with that of the Sanguinary Guard to soften the enemy and reduce their damage potential next turn.
Devastation, brothers!
Carlisle scouts the pings to the north and find a much bigger threat barreling down on us. I position my forces outside of the movement range of the Venanthrope and set them to overwatch. I need my jump pack cooldowns before engaging. I switch to the reinforcing speeders. I move them out 2 squares before crippling the termagants in front of them. Then I start moving them towards my main force. I need to unite my forces before I move for the main objective. On this difficulty, the speeders cannot shoot their way to the objective. The enemy surges forward, but is barely able to scratch my forces.
Under fire!
I begin my turn by charging Carleon into the Venanthrope. It is ridiculous how good of an answer he is to the Venanthrope this early in the game. I surround the enemy. Even with a rear attack, the Assault Marine's damage is lackluster without the Righteous Exhortation buff. The Sanguinary Guard, on the other hand, surprised me by wiping out the Venanthropes.
Crush them!
I move Aturo and the aggressors to support the ramp, ignoring the pathetic damage from the zone control attacks of the crippled Hormagaunt units. After a heal, I try to remove as many models from all the enemy full-strength units as possible.
Close combat support!
I then move my land speeders up carefully, find another group of termagants, and pump them full of as much high-explosive lead as I can. I end the turn. The remaining Hormagaunts decide they don't want to live without their families that I murdered, so they commit suicide by aggressors. Another sole-surviving termagant tries to avenge his family. It's futile. Poor Jeffrey. I show him mercy. Psych! Die, bitch! I wasn't able to pin the forces on the ramp enough, and they dished out significant damage. Fortunately, I didn't lose any models. I crushed the units on the ramp.
We are the Bloodblades of Skyfall. We are the lords of the assault doctrine.
My chainsword thirsts for their blood.
The swarm has no right to live.
And then charge the aggressors into the Venanthropes. The amount of damage they do overwhelms the Venanthropes and prevents them from attacking back. I position my forces away from the incoming enemy from the north. I don't yet have the jump pack cooldown abilities, and if I don't engage all 4 of the fresh Termagant units in melee, they will deal massive damage to my forces. I positioned the Sanguinary Guard to finish the Venanthropes. I thought their health was low enough that they would be wiped out, but I was wrong. They kill one of the guards in retaliation. This is a massive blow to the unit that is part of my main killing power. I moved the speeders close to my army. They are a big help in holding the bunker position by the objective. I get a little lucky, with the last surviving Venanthrope suiciding himself while trying to AoE the large clump of my units. The land speeders blast open a path that will allow them to reunite with the rest of the force. With jump packs off cooldown, the guard and assault marines jump out to the ledge and lock down the new enemy. The damage they do is minimal, but I am more interested in the range penalties they will receive from this engagement. Carleon and the aggressor finish off the remnants on the ramp, and everyone moves up. More Venanthropes show up this time behind the speeder. I will use their mobility to hit and run as I try to unite them with the main force. The Nids on the ledge tried to wiggle away to do damage, but barely scratch my forces. I move the land speeder closer and move up my main force to finish the Termagants and secure the ledge.
Assault Marines ready. The swarm has no right to live. Yes. The swarm has no right to live.
I can feel the reduction in the Sanguinary Guard's damage. It is still high enough to carry most of the fights though. Another miscalculation. I was paying attention to the pings during the enemy turns, and now a squad of Hormigants emerged from the fog and almost destroyed one of my speeders. If this was the real Imperium, I would have been executed after the battle, victorious or not. But now I get to show you the true power of a melee army. In an instant, all the jump pack troops land right on top of the Nids that were threatening my speeders and instantly dispose of them. The high hit and high crit chance of melee armies guarantee a certain number of kills, unlike range where a host of variables can affect the accuracy and therefore the damage of the range army.
Landspeeder crew awaiting orders.
I rescue the speeders and engage in a fighting retreat, which is different from a regular retreat and totally does not imply cowardice. I take up positions that would make it harder for the enemy to charge my units.
Taking fire!
I soften the new Venanthropes with the land speeders before jumping in with the jump pack troops to finish them off. Notice how I rarely engage without jump pack cooldowns.
We are the Furious Sanguinius!
There is little left in this universe that I have not witnessed.
To the sky, brothers! Crush them!
In mind, body, and spirit.
I can't sit on this ramp all day and chop up endless Nid reinforcements. I burn my action points on the range shots and march towards the objective. Speeders with their superior range continue to harass and kite the pursuing Venanthropes.
Ready for recon. They shall know death! Firing on the enemy.
I move my forces closer to the bunker and then capture the objective. Now I have to survive 4 turns of the enemy reinforcements. I don't want to engage them past this corner bunker. It will allow a lot of enemy melee troops to reach them in 1 turn from the moment they spawn. I spend a few turns taking pot shots at their reinforcements and form a defensive line, hoping to draw them closer.
In my veins.
Roger that. Thin their numbers. They will not overwhelm us.
I keep one speeder in the back to keep an eye on the venom throws coming from the rear. I set my forces to overwatch on the last of the 4 turns. It turns out to be quite a successful overwatch sequence. After a heal, I move forward to finish off the enemy. Their reinforcements are gone, and I can taste their defeat.
When the day's darkest, we prevail through control.
Close combat support.
I get a little overzealous though, and charge Carleon too deep. He reveals a much larger enemy force in waiting. I thought the reinforcements had ended, but they had one last surprise out there. I made a mistake. Again, and Carleon is in danger. His death means an automatic mission failure. I tried to cut the path through the enemy to get to him, but it doesn't seem like it will happen. I didn't want to commit all my forces yet, but now I have no choice. Assault Marines join Carleon and hope to bait the enemy into attacking them instead of him.
Crush them! Come, brothers. Battle awaits.
Their death is our only option.
The Nids oblige and kill an Assault Marine squad.
Picked up movement on the Auspex. Taking fire!
They will be avenged. I send in the Sanguinary Guard and pull both my speeders in. These are the last of the enemy's reinforcements, and I will make them pay.
You will fall before me.
The blood waits.
Roger that. We are the wolves. We are the guns. On the move.
The Nids barely scratch me as the majority of their remaining forces are ranged and locked in melee. The retribution is swift. I clean up the remainder.
I have faced better.
On Baal 4 I was born, and should the Emperor will it.
Ready for recon. Close combat support.
My fury will be far. You will fall before me.
And claim victory once more. Only one more mission, and the full power of the melee force will be unlocked.
As you anticipated, there's little of our brothers here to recover.